And partly cloudy. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has brought cheers to their fans for decades with the best styles, cutting-edge tech, and good old family values. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Coming at you on a Monday morning with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Our producers, Matt Pajeski and Frank Ladd. And coming up at 12:30, Blues chairman Tom Stillman. It is hockey season. It's baseball postseason. It's college football. It's NFL. It's all things in between. Ranj, how you doing? Where do you want to start in what has been a very exciting month already sports-wise?
Let's talk snooker.
Okay.
Now let's talk baseball.
Let's get John Hancock on the phone. He's our resident snooker expert.
Never known anybody who knows as much about snooker as John does.
Oh boy, does he know his snooker. Snooker open line, 314-436-7900.
Well, first of all, yesterday in the NFL, I mean, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, the Dolphins are, the 72 Dolphins are popping champagne.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Yeah, no undefeateds anymore. I bet the Bills losing to the Patriots.
Unbelievable.
What the heck's going on?
I got to watch this Drake May stuff.
Mike Vrabel's a good coach.
He is a very good coach. This is a fantastic example of how important coaching is when it comes to young quarterbacks. There have been probably hundreds of quarterbacks throughout the years who may have ended up being pretty good, serviceable at worst quarterbacks, had they gone to a competent organization. But instead, they went to bad organizations and they were ruined within the first couple of years. That happens so often. And being paired up with a good football coach that's how you do it. That is the only way to do it. I think it's really difficult for a young quarterback, even the most talented, to go into a bad situation and overcome it. Very, very tough to do.
The other one is Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Just to your point, young quarterback, coach who has an experience coaching quarterbacks. And this was predicted, not by me. I mimicked what he said. Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs. I do believe it was Reid who I first heard say this, that watched the Broncos, that Sean Payton is going to build something there, and he certainly has. They are a challenge, I think, to the Chiefs in the AFC West. They go into Philadelphia and they beat the Eagles. So the two undefeated teams are out. The Eagles are a really good team, but they seem very one-dimensional. They like to run the football, and their passing game has not been, let's just say it's been suspect. The jury's still out as to whether they can repeat as Super Bowl champions, although they'll certainly be a player. But what a nice job by the Broncos going in and getting the job done.
How about that?
Yeah.
Really. So the NFL fun yesterday, Bills losing that game, the Cardinals. Here's what I need to get a handle on this. And every time it happens, Tom, I lose my mind. And I need football players to stop doing this. Do you know what the thing is?
Calling touchdowns tutties?
Well,
that really bothers me.
It bothers me too. I don't like tutties either.
Stop it with all that.
I don't like tutties. It's not my favorite.
Go ahead.
Here's what it is.
Yeah.
When you are breaking off for, a 72-yard run, and you're about to score, you're about to bring that ball into the end zone, dropping the football before you hit the goal line. I do not understand why this keeps happening. DeMarcado did it yesterday, and they ended up losing the game. That touchdown would have pretty much sealed it for them because Tennessee comes back, scores 16 points in the fourth quarter. They win that game. How does this keep happening? How do guys keep running into the end zone and dropping the football before they get there?
Certainly shouldn't
happen. It happens
in
college
a
NFL.
ton. Yeah, college, somewhat understandable because most of those players are still learning, even at that level.
They're learning where the goal line is,
and
it's right there.
I know, but you know how to conduct yourself. Like
it's crazy.
Celebrate when you get into the end zone, or don't. Just act like you've been there before, as we like to say.
I mean, I don't mind the celebration.
It's fine,
good, but just get in
first. The end zone, dude.
Crazy.
But
you should be cut. You should never get to play football ever again. If you drop the football on purpose before you cross the goal line into the end zone. It is inexcusable.
It is. Tonight's game, Kansas City at Jacksonville. Can you explain something to me? How is Kansas City only a 3.5 point favorite? I think the Chiefs are starting to play really well. I know this is the NFL, but the Jaguars can't be that great. I mean, they're 3-1, but I don't see the matchup. I don't see a good matchup for them. Trevor Lawrence, a good quarterback, but he hasn't had a great year, and you're facing a defense that perhaps could give you some problems with Spagnuolo and all the things that he can do putting pressure. I just don't see I see a lopsided game tonight.
Yeah, this might be one of those. I think Kansas City wins by a touchdown at least.
Yeah.
In this one, I know they're going to be on the road. The Chiefs are a lot better than a 2-2 record. I don't like to admit it, but they are. I know they are. 2-2. They'll be 3-2 tonight. And you can listen to that game right here on 104.1 FM KMOX. Don't forget that.
I do NFL picks every Sunday morning on Sports on a Sunday morning, and I felt really good about the Indianapolis Colts. I said they are a very, very good football team. Do not be deceived by their loss to the Rams the previous week. They came out and they stomped the Raiders 40-6. They're the team that nobody's talking about. The Colts are excellent. Some other teams that surprised me a little bit, Houston putting it on Baltimore. Did you know that Baltimore, although they don't have Lamar Jackson, they're 1-4. They are actually still the favorite to win the AFC North at 1-4.
That's another case, just like Kansas City. They're not as bad as their record. And if they got a healthy Jackson, then they'll be okay.
Tampa Bay, one of my favorite players, Baker Mayfield, goes in there, runs his mouth, and beats Seattle 38-35. Love that kid. Detroit looks like a great team as well. So it's going to be fun. I mean, the NFL is great. And the other thing about football is college football is becoming a little NFL. The parity across college football, you just don't know who's going to win this thing. I think that you have a whole group of college football teams that have an opportunity, and it just so happens that there's a 12-team playoff now. Ohio State's number one, but I want to see a little bit more. They dominated Minnesota 42-3. This is going to be fun now. They go into Illinois. I mean, they may well come into Champaign and smash them. It could happen. I mean, they're very good. But Illinois has a lot to prove. They showed me something in what could have been one of those games where, you just look past it because you just came off USC.
The Purdue game over the weekend.
Yeah. And you have Ohio State coming, and they did a very nice job beating Barry Odom's Boilermakers. And now they get Ohio State and Missouri and Alabama. Oh, baby. In Columbia on Saturday, the Crimson Tide come rolling in, and Missouri rested. We'll be ready for them. I worry. I'm going to give you a concern I have for Missouri against Alabama. The secondary against Alabama's passing attack. This kid, Ryan Williams, is a dynamite wide receiver. Ty Simpson, their quarterback, very accurate. Kalen DeBoer, Alabama's coach, know him well. He was the offensive coordinator at Indiana. I've watched a ton of his games. He loves to throw deep and make you chase his fast guys like Williams. Be careful here. If you're Missouri, do not get into some shootout with them. You got to ride Ahmad Hardy, the running back, and just pound the football. Alabama might be a little soft in that area. If you can get him in space and let him break some tackles and run away, run that clock, and you got a shot against Alabama, a real shot against Alabama. And if you beat them, well, now you're going to have the SEC talking about you as a legitimate playoff contender. If not, everyone's going to say Missouri, see, told you, they're just another middle-of-the-road, mediocre SEC team.
Mizzou game sold out, too. It's in Columbia.
They sell them all out, man.
However, you can still get it. Look, you want to pay a couple $100, you can get into the game.
Sure, yeah. The tailgating be good. I hate those 11 a.m. kicks, though.
Yeah, that's
you gotta
getting started at 8 a.m.
The city's buzzing. Everyone's going to be out late on Friday. Place will be hopping. I'm not going there, but I know a lot of people are going to have some fun with that. That's going to be great. So two great ones there: Mizzou, Alabama, Illinois, Ohio State. My alma mater's number 7 in the country now. Indiana plays at number 3, Oregon. Miami's jumped up to 2. But 7 at 3, College game day up in Eugene, Oklahoma, Texas. I mean, it's going to be a heck of a college football weekend.
You nervous?
No, actually, I feel a lot better than I did an hour ago. Just found out that D'Angelo Pons, our All-American corner, is
available,
fine and ready to play.
Good. There you go.
We're going to need him to be to stay with Oregon. But that should be a fun football game. Matt wants to know, will Chaim Bloom be doing sports on a Sunday morning live moving forward? That answer is yes. Confirmed every single week, no. But he is very much aware of the 11:30 time slot that John Mozeliak owned. We made the decision because he was out of town with family over the weekend to play a piece of John Rooney's interview in that spot. But yes, the Cardinals are aware. They know it's tradition. Mozeliak, Jocketty, before him, I've actually chatted with Chaim in the past about this. So appreciate the question. We are actually pursuing Chaim to come on this show, the Gashouse Gang, perhaps as early as tomorrow, so that Bernie Miklasz can join us for that conversation. Bernie and I had a talk yesterday on Sports on a Sunday Morning about the Cardinals, and I decided to blow out all the normal Sports on a Sunday Morning first half of the show yesterday, first half of the first hour, where I do scores and rundown of all that stuff, and just took calls on the Cardinals. I just feel this anger coming out of Cardinals fans still, and John Mozeliak is, on vacation somewhere. I mean, it's over, and they're still angry. They're angry that Ollie Marmol's coming back. They're angry that nothing happened out of the press conference. I don't know if you expected them to, sign Juan Soto or something, or trade for Juan Soto. I mean, just folks, it's going to be a process. I love you all. But it is going to be a process from now until 2027. You're going to have to understand that this team is rebuilding. They are going to build this thing back into the machine. That's the hope anyway, that they once were. I don't know how many times I have to tell you, this is not an overnight fix, but they do have to give the fans some hope, and they have to explain to them what's going on. And yes, stars sell. Kids today, the ones who are growing into Cardinals fans of the future, don't come out to go see the 11 World Championship flags waving in right field. They come out to see players. They wear the jerseys of players that they like. They like individual stars more than they like the team. Sorry, that's just the way it is. And so the Cardinals are going to have to figure that out and understand that. Star power wins. Got to grow your stars, got to sign them, got to retain them, got a little money left over. You go get one and bring it into town. That'll be Chaim Bloom's mission. But my big thing, Chris, and then we'll take a break and let you riff off of this thought, is that the thing that stuck with me, and it really came in the interview with John Rooney, that I think people are missing. This isn't, and now I'm going to get all fired up like I did yesterday. This isn't the same as it used to be. They did exactly what you asked them to do. They went out and found someone from the outside. He told Rooney in the interview, every single day, you have to be better. There are 29 other people in your position, no matter what your position is in this organization, trying to beat you. You have to understand that. And the Cardinals, Chris, for years, I believe, thought that their way, the Cardinal way, whatever you want to say, the only way was the way. Yep. And I don't care what other people are doing. This is how we do it. And this is our successful model. And this is how we do it. Well, it doesn't work. And you have to go steal people's ideas, steal people's people. Because guess what, Chris? They all did it to the Cardinals. They took this guy and this guy and this idea and that idea. And suddenly everybody was replicating it. And the Cardinals were left in the dust. So the Cardinals are doing what people asked. And that's just the way it is.
That is maybe the most important thing to come out of the Bloom situation. And that is they've gotten some outside perspective. And I think it was Bill DeWitt III when we talked to him, and he said, maybe we had gotten a little insular, that we just really only appreciated and or listened to people who had grown up through the organization, had already worked in the organization, had some familiarity with it, instead of thinking, no, let's see what other teams are doing. What are you guys thinking? What do you see, Chaim Bloom? You've been with two other organizations who do things completely opposite. The way Tampa Bay Rays operate and the Boston Red Sox operate, two totally different teams in how they operate with their payroll and so on and so forth. That is so important that they finally said, let's see what a guy from somewhere else thinks about what we are doing and how we can be better. Instead of just, hey, we're the Cardinals. We're a great organization. Let's just keep doing what we've been doing and only listen to ourselves. That's not the way to win, not the way to stay in front. And if you still want to as a fan, be upset with John Mozeliak or where things are right now. I think you have every right to be upset with the fact the minor league infrastructure was allowed to lapse, that it was allowed to, I don't know if deteriorate is the right word, or it was allowed to be surpassed by all these other teams. You can be upset about that because that is a fix that will take some time. It's not going to be overnight, like you said, but to fix a minor league system, we know they've got much better talent after this last draft, and a lot of people from the outside looked at the draft and said, great job by the Cardinals, which is a good first step. But you have to have good infrastructure in place, and that will take a bit. So it never should have been allowed to get to that point. I guess I understand why it did, because they were so focused on payroll, so focused on major league roster, they let this other thing slip. That should never have happened. So you do have a right to be upset about that. I don't really get the Ollie Marmol anger. Like I
do
know
a little bit.
I mean, I know how fans are. It's the manager. It's always that person's fault, but it isn't. It's the roster. This is all about the roster.
I do a little bit, and this is nothing against Ollie. You know, I like Ollie, but it is that the Schilt firing, and it's also that they just want a signal that things are changing and bringing back the manager, even though some people might like him personally. They're saying, well, you're just telling me it's the same old thing, when it's actually completely opposite. Heim's in charge now. Right. He could have fired him if he wanted to. He sees something in Ollie that Ollie's going to go with what he wants to do. And what you just said about the minor leagues is 100% on. You have to teach these players how to be winners when they come into the big leagues. This is not a farm club. This is not a place to be teaching fundamentals. This is a place to win. You learn all of that stuff there, and the Cardinals fell behind. They need to go over the top, actually, in what they do expense-wise. Bill DeWitt needs to give this guy everything he needs to build that minor league system month after month after month. This is not done by any stretch, but they are on the right track for sure. Sean chiming in saying, you're being too reasonable, Tom. If we don't win the World Series next season, I'll never go to another game. Thank you, Sean Riley.
Yeah, you know what? Me neither. I'm with you, Sean.
Yeah, me too. I'm out. If they don't hang the 12th and 26th, I am out of there, baby. What else, Walt? The unanswered question: how did ownership allow Mo to destroy the infrastructure? Okay, I mean Mo did what he did, and the Bill DeWitt could have said no many times, or could have said that he approved, and Mo did what Bill wanted to do as well. So look, it always starts at the top, it goes down. There are a lot of people to blame for it. Hopefully the slate has been wiped clean, and it is time to restructure this thing and go now. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and we will be right back.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brisati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Did you know that you have a pension and there are ways to maximize how you take it? That's right. It's called Social Security. Find out more at retiresafestl.com/guide. That's retiresafestl.com/guide.
104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Stronger than ever.
Let's do a little, prime the pump here and just get psyched up for Tom Stillman, the chairman, joining us. I am excited for hockey season. I love this city and its sports landscape, and there's just nothing better than playoff hockey and in person. And I am excited with the thought that the Blues could be a serious contender. It begins Thursday. It is a long road. One of my friends sent me a text today that this got me really excited for hockey season. He said, let me see if I can. He said, once hockey starts, you have until schools are out, kids are home, and the summer is back. He said, it's our conduit to goodness. So that, because the hockey season is so long.
It is, yeah.
That it's just the excitement of knowing that from Thursday until hopefully June, you're going to get Blues hockey. That's a long time. So if you're a hockey fan, you are loving it. I'm a big college basketball, college football fan. Both of those seasons are so short, but I've always had this love for the Blues for that reason, that, I can always lean on them, and just Cardinal baseball as well, being there day after day after day. It's pretty nice.
When I was living in a city where the Blackhawks were winning Stanley Cups every year for that stretch, 6-year stretch, I always used to get annoyed because the hockey season would end, and then it felt like 2 weeks later the Blackhawks are back. I'm like, didn't we just do this? Didn't we just do this damn hockey thing? And I guess we're doing, you know what I mean? It is a very short off season.
Yeah.
It's like the soccer off season. I feel like MLS offseason is 3 weeks.
Yeah, they're even shorter. I know. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk to Tom Stillman. I have a lot of questions for him. Big news that came out today. I don't know if he can comment yet because I don't know that it's official, but Connor McDavid is re-signing with the Oilers. He's getting an extension. And John Kelly, I saw, just landed a gig with ESPN on top of his LA Kings play-by-play.
Interesting.
I do want to ask Tom, I know this is kind of a touchy subject, but I do want to ask how they plan to honor him later this month when he comes back to St. Louis. Back in a moment on KMOX.
The Cardinals season may be over, but in St. Louis, sports never stop. The Chiefs are chasing another championship. Mizzou football is making noise, and the Blues are back on the ice. Every weekday at 5, Rush Hour Sports keeps you ahead of the game with news, traffic, weather, and the biggest stories in sports. Kevin Wheeler, Matt Pauley, and Bernie Nicholas, 3 trusted voices St. Louis fans count on. Rush Hour Sports, weekdays at 5 on KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Oh, baby, this is going to be the last day it's warm for a while, I think. High of 85 right now. It is 77 degrees and partly sunny in St. Louis.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
In the fight against Alzheimer's, now matters more than ever because now we have new treatments that could change everything. This is Megan Lynch. Join me Saturday, October 25th at the Chesterfield Amphitheater for the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's the region's largest fundraiser to fight dementia and support those living with the disease because now is the time for action. You can join in the fight by registering for the walk at alz.org/walk. That's alz.org/walk.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Welcome to Coffee House. How are you today?
Hi, great, thanks. May I get a sea salt caramel latte with almond milk, extra caramel, extra shot, iced,
gross,
and to go, please. Did you get all that?
No, I was just ringing you up for all the extras. Can you repeat your order, please?
Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna go.
Stop paying extra for extras. Get fancy coffee without the fancy coffee price at Quick Trip. Raise your coffee bar.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
11:20 a.m., 104.1 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
Well, hockey season is upon us. The Blues open their season on Thursday night. They take on the Minnesota Wild, and joining us to talk about that and more, I mean, who better to get than the chairman of the St. Louis Blues himself, Tom Stillman, is back on KMOX, the Gashouse Gang with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Tom and Chris. How are you?
Doing well. It's great to hear your voice again, and well, we're here. The week, are you ready, is the question for the fans to come back into the building and get this thing started.
Yeah, I think we're all ready and raring to go. You know, that the training camp is going well, and you know, our roster's just about set, so we're ready and excited to get going.
Let me ask you about that one right away. Just and look, I know it's not finalized yet, but I want to get your thoughts on Lucic real quick. I love this podcast that Chaser and Holly did called Ice Guardians, and Holly told this great story about Lucic in that Blackhawks game the other night. He said he was watching, Holly always watches these things closely. He said there was a young Blackhawks player who was kind of face washing guys and, jabbing guys. And Lucic came out onto the ice and stood right next to him. And the guy wouldn't even make eye contact with him, wouldn't even look at him. Things kind of calmed down after that. You just love having, whether he makes this roster or not, you love having those guys available, don't you?
Yeah, I think it makes everybody on the team feel a little bit bigger, a little more confident. Having somebody like that around. Lucic garners a lot of respect around the league on a number of levels, and so that's why Doug has signed him to a PTO and is interested in seeing what he can do. So we're not sure right now where that's going to go, but it really is an interesting possibility.
At what point, as you get ready for the season, the team's getting ready, at what point do you feel like, all right, let's get this thing going and enough preseason and I'm ready for this? 2 weeks ago. Okay. All right. Yeah.
No, that's a little early, but it gets into camp for a while, and the exhibition games are, I think they're really interesting, but they're kind of strange to analyze because guys are on different schedules and agendas, rightfully. And, there's a lot of talk and a lot of work. And then at some point you just, let's play the games. Come on, let's go.
And I imagine Jim Montgomery has that exact same feeling. And he's, he had his first training camp here with the Blues and preseason, obviously coming in November, after the season had already started last year. So to have a different look going into training camp and then going into the regular season, what sort of difference do you think that will make on the ice?
I think it'll make a significant difference. Just as an example, we saw, Monty came in and had no time when he started last year. But then when we had the league break for the Four Nations tournament, he had, just a few days of practice, uninterrupted day, several days in a row. And that made a difference, as we saw after the break. So when you extrapolate that to having a full training camp and being able to, institute everything he wants to down to the details, I think that will make a difference. Everything from X's and O's to kind of the broader culture.
Tom, big news announced within the hour. The Oilers announced that they have signed Connor McDavid to a 2-year extension, an average annual value of $12.5 million. Clearly, he wants to help Edmonton win that cup that has eluded them. When you look at your team, McDavid is a cornerstone player without question. When you look at your roster, who do you consider to be cornerstones? Who is the rock or rocks of your team moving forward as we sit here?
Well, obviously we consider Thomas and Kyrou, that as evidenced by the deals we signed them to, a couple of years ago. But there are more people that are moving into that status, and in some ways it's a little bit of a moving target. But it's those guys in that core age group. But of course, where we're trying to, build a core within the younger age group, but we still have really important, players like Shen and Parayko and Falk and others, and Fowler, who are older as well. So I don't really like when designating only some people core pieces, because so many people play an important role.
Yeah, that's understandable. And the face of that franchise for a while seems to have been Jordan Binnington. But you have so many pieces right now. I felt like defensively you had to upgrade. Do you feel like you have? Do you like the promise of a Mayu and of some others that could step in and make a difference?
Yeah, first I should say, I was thinking skaters and the few people, when I was mentioning just a few people,
Sure.
obviously Bennington is the core of the core. You asked whether we had improved our defense or improved generally with Young. I think May looks really promising. I think we've made, I think Doug and his group made a great addition there. That's a painful one when you have to give up a good player like Bolduc. But, I think with him and the maturation of Tucker, and now having Fowler in for the whole season, I think we will be better on defense.
Talking with Blues chairman Tom Stillman, and knowing there is a salary cap in the league, and I believe it's $95.5 million. I think that's the right number. So teams are working with the same payroll constraints. How does an organization like the Blues set itself apart from the others when you're all, at least in terms of payroll, able to spend about the same amount of money?
Yeah, and your addition there of in terms of payroll, is important because there are a lot of hockey related expenses that are not regulated by that cap, whether it's for coaching or training devices and all sorts of things. So it's not as even as you think. I think the answer to your question is that our people, led by Doug, have to do their jobs even better than the big market teams. Drafting would be one example. I think our drafting has been outstanding. We've been getting players. We haven't had really top draft choices for the most part because we've remained pretty competitive, and yet we've had very good results from our draft in a much improved prospect pool over the last few years.
Yeah, you do have some real talent. I mean, if you look at Snuggerud, not to mention all the players that you just sent to Springfield, some good ones that had a terrific preseason, but Snuggerud looks like the real deal. You talked about him before he ever set foot on the ice wearing a blue note. Back when he was at Minnesota, you were dropping his name to me on the air, and he has turned out to be what looks like the real deal.
He really does. He certainly surprised me with his seamless transition last spring, and he's really stood out not only in the games but at the training camp practice sessions. He really stands out day to day.
I wanted to ask you also just about what's going to happen here on Thursday, the 9th. I just saw that you are going to be up on stage with the captain. Is that right? Braden Shen, Tom Stillman, among those who will be addressing the crowd at your pregame celebration. This is face-off week, and the rally at Union Station starts at 3. I'll bet you Blues fans would go even earlier if you asked them. They're going to be riled up for that.
Yeah, let's make sure the headliner there is Shen, and I'll be in there at some point. I'm sure that'll be scintillating to everybody. But seeing the captain up there on the opening day, that'll be a good thing for the fans.
And you're also going to have live music. You have Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale up there. You know what I think of them. I mean, I think the world of them. They were our radio team here on KMOX, and we had some great fun and memories with them winning a Stanley Cup. But you also know what we all think of John Kelly. I mean, he meant a lot to this organization. How do you plan on? And I just saw he landed another gig. He's now doing ESPN and the Kings. The Kings will be here soon. Have you thought about? I'm sure you have. But is there anything you can say about what you'll try to do to honor him when he comes back?
We will honor him that night. It'll probably be something along the lines of what we do with, a beloved returning player, something like that, I think. And as you said, we do have tremendous respect for John Kelly and all he and his family have done for the Blues franchise. And at the same time, we're excited about our new setup, and we think the fans are going to be very pleased with it.
We know some of the fans had a negative reaction to that decision to make all of the broadcasts just one simulcast on both radio and TV. How has the response been to what you've heard from the fans?
I mean, initially it was a little choppy, and we expected some of that, and I guess I would say we probably could have handled it better at the time as well. So I think some of that is certainly on us. But since then, as the season approaches and I think people are more comfortable with it. We're hearing less of that. And I think as, that pair, Curbs and Joey, take over and bring their energy and chemistry and knowledge of the game, I think people will be really happy with it.
Once we get to December 1st, Tom, so we're less than 2 months away from it, sports betting will finally be legal in the state of Missouri. And I'm going to be talking about FanDuel here in a moment. But we know the Blues, we know the Cardinals, all the professional teams in Missouri were pushing for this to get that legalized here in the state. What sort of direct relationship will the Blues have with sports betting once it is finally available for people to do here?
The only real relationship we'll have is one of sponsorship, similar to the sponsorships we have with others. There, when sports gambling first started getting legalized in the states after the Supreme Court decision allowing that, there were all sorts of theories about how the sports were going to share and this and that and this way and most of those things are not happening. So it really just becomes another sponsorship arrangement between a team and a gaming company.
Blues Chairman Tom Stillman with us. The door is open at 5 on Thursday. The fans are asked to be in their seats by 6:30. We know why that is, because you do an extensive pregame show for those home openers. Last year, everybody was buzzing about it. They're excited about it again and looking forward to the season. And thank you for the time. We love having you back on KMOX.
Well, thanks. It's good of you to have me, and look forward to seeing you at the game.
We look forward to doing that very thing. Tom Stillman with us from Enterprise Center, the St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota Wild on Thursday.
You know what's amazing? I have a friend named Mike Stillman. Kind of looks like he could be Tom Stillman's brother, but they are not related.
Maybe they're
and
related.
They met years ago because I asked him about it. I'm like, Mike, you know Tom Stillman? Are you guys related? Because you look like you could be brothers or cousins or something. And he said, nope, but we've met. And it's interesting.
Did you notice how Tom Stillman, the face of team ownership, said, hey, that's on us?
About the announcers.
We should have handled that better. And believe me, he will go into the concourse. He's a fan himself. He'll mix himself in with the fans, maybe even have a cold one. Yeah. And he'll talk to everybody, get feedback, and he hears it and answers it.
I know a lot of teams, not a lot, but there are a handful of teams that do the simulcast. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of that. I like having separate broadcasts, but maybe they'll be able to figure it out, Tom.
I think it's okay to wish everybody the best, and that's what people are doing for JK, for Curbs, for Joey, everybody. There's some hardworking people, man.
JK's moved on to some great gigs, man.
Let's take a break, but first tell us, if you would, about FanDuel.
Oh, well, FanDuel, it's America's #1 sports book, Tom, and it's coming to Missouri, as I mentioned just a moment ago, December 1st. Finally, you're going to get to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports, like hockey, because it will be ongoing at the time. Football's happening too. Professional and college, you got basketball. So it is really a great time for this to be implemented in the state. And with FanDuel, all sorts of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet straight up money line. You can bet the team totals if you want to do that. Or if maybe you feel like, I know who's going to be coach of the year. I think it's going to be Jim Montgomery. I'm going with that. So you can place that bet with FanDuel. Once again, it is available here in the state of Missouri. And if you like to follow along with the game and live bet, FanDuel allows you to do that too. You can pick what player you think, if you're watching football, what player you think is going to score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. That is a lot of fun to do. So right now, you can download the FanDuel app, get familiar with it, because, again, it will be live to use in Missouri in December right there on the 1st. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. You can visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to download the app now. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, we are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It's a great reminder to take care of yourself. I think people are so busy throughout the year taking care of everybody else. Seeing all the pink around in October is a really excellent time to take a step back and make sure that you are here to continue taking care of everybody else for a very long time.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
KMOX proudly supports the Mutual Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Mutual Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Now, 90 and 60. A look back at the latest St. Louis City SC match. Presented by Woods Basement Systems, Inc.
Pompeo out of the circle, left side of the Austin box, cross it.
Harder
works to it. Right foot outside of the foot. And it's Cello once again, baby. City with the ball. Morales, just the offensive end. Laser, perfect. Top of the box, pitcher, chest it down, and he will dig it on home. Uses the spoon up and over the keeper. All right, baby. City's going to win it tonight, and that'll do it. St. Louis City 3, Austin 1.
Up next, City SC faces Real Salt Lake, Saturday, October 18th. Kick at 8 p.m. on Y98.
Tripping over uneven concrete? Don't replace it, raise it with concrete leveling. Call the all things basement-y experts, Wood Basement Systems, for a free estimate at 618-249-5503 or learn more at woodsbasementsystems.com.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Welcome back. Just a few minutes left in this hour. Next show will be tomorrow with Bernie Nicholas, and we will have a good time with that. DLW, a common contributor. We always appreciate it. So a lot of people haven't seen any of the preseason games, so their first exposure to Curbs and Joey will be on opening night. Thank you very much. That is true, but we've all heard Curbs and Joey a million times, I would say. So I think we know what they're going to sound like and look like, and it'll be the same old thing, but we all miss John Kelly, I think. I mean, don't we? I think, again, I don't know if you heard, but Tom Stillman was really good, I thought, in answering our questions about it. And JK announced today, he put that out there, that he has signed with ESPN to be on the national broadcast team as well as the LA Kings. So good for him.
Good for him. It's it's kind of taken off for him a bit, it seems like.
Yeah. Pretty good. So yeah, big week. The Cardinals and the MLB postseason moving forward here, you're not going to see any player movement, just understand, until after the World Series. That's when free agency starts. That's when you see the wheels start to turn. And honestly, not until after the winter meetings are you going to see any real movement, I don't think. But you will see some roster changes. I think before that, you'll see perhaps a change or two in the coaching staff. We'll see how they do that. And you will see some change in the front office. You know, he still has to bring in a general manager. He hasn't named a general manager. And I think it's possible that some people could have their titles changed or moved around a little bit in that front office, but we'll see. But Heim's going to set this up. He's had a lot of time to think about it, what he wants this to look like.
The important thing is that they do have, and like we, and he talked about it too, having some continuity from one administration to the next one. And I think there is a lot of value in that, even if you don't believe the previous administration was good enough, right? I still think that there's something to having a little continuity, but as long as these outside voices are louder and they get to make, they get to form an organization that does things a little bit differently. And that is not to say the Cardinals organization was doing things wrong, but they didn't do a lot of things right lately. They were bypassed by a lot of other teams, as we were talking about earlier. So I think it is very, very important that they do have a new sort of outlook on the way they do stuff and just stay on top of it, because things change. The way teams do things change. These, those market inefficiencies, they always change. Be out in front of all of that. My understanding from what I know of him is that Bloom will be pretty good at that stuff. Now, we're not going to know for sure until probably 2-3 years into this, but I do have some confidence that this is going in the right direction.
DL Dub also wants to know if wonders if John Jay will go to the Rangers. Good question. Skip Schumacher taking over.
That's right.
In Texas. So perhaps they'll try to steal a couple of Cardinals people. John Jay, I can tell you where he was last night. He was at Ozzie Smith's gala at the Ritz-Carlton, and I believe playing in his golf tournament today. Good night last night with Jackie Joyner-Kersee and Dan Jansen, a couple of Olympic gold medalists.
Good baseball night tonight. Dodgers-Phillies, game 1, 5 o'clock, a little after
game
5.
2. Yeah, Dodgers got him in
game
1.
That's the first game of the night, I should say.
Sorry.
Then the second game of the night, Cubs and Brewers in Milwaukee.
How about that? An 8:08 start in Milwaukee. You think they'll have any beers? Beers?
They just started 5 minutes ago.
Monday Night Football on KMOX tonight. Counter programming. Chiefs, Jaguars at 7:15. Thanks for joining us on KMOX's Gashouse Gang.